it's less warm than I thought, so I'm just gonna go local this morning. Just a quick one. I know that there are people who are offended by the things that I say. So for example, I said some things recently about Prince Philip. Because people have a tendency in this modern age to idolize people to the extent of even worship them. To even worshipping them. And there are things that Prince Philip said that some people would consider offensive. And for less than what he said, other people have got cancelled for saying less than what he said. So it seems to me that this cancel culture thing only works when, if you like, the media or whoever in a position of influence says thou shalt cancel that person. Right, so all these wonderful, marvelous things this man is supposed to have done, no character flaws. This is how people revise history. Even Alex Belfield did a video where, 2-3 years ago, thank you, 2-3 years ago, he wrote scathingly about Prince Philip after he had the car crash, and then 2-3 years later, after he dies, Piers Morgan is writing about him like, quite the opposite. What a wonderful man, what a credit to this nation, blah blah blah, etc. So it seems like we get offended when the media tell us to get offended. We love who we love when the media tell us to love them. So someone came on one of my posts yesterday and left a comment about something I said the day after Prince Philip's funeral. And he wrote, "Is now the time?" So I asked him, are illness and death appropriate? Meaning, do illness and death ask us, are you ready? Do you mind if we take your relative, etc.? And I asked, does death care about our feelings and emotions? So in other words, if when people die, they might shake their fist at God or something, but they don't blame death. I said in the book, which was published in 2002, so these are not new thoughts on my part. I said, certain forces of nature exist just to cause death and disaster and destruction, but we don't blame them. For example, if a tsunami or wipes out a whole village, you don't blame the tsunami, or you want to take the tsunami to court or cancel the tsunami, right? Same with a volcano, same with anything. You don't blame the thing, but somewhere along the line, somewhere along the line, people have developed this. I would say this started in the 2000s, because I remember going to one of my clients. I didn't know anything about foot and mouth. That was like 2001, because I wasn't watching TV. I'd given up TV by then. So I had no clue what was going on in the world. And it was at that client's house. She's married to a former tennis player who's now a commentator. And she was the one who told me and sat me down in front of the TV to show me what's going on. And this is like 2001, and I remember her saying, what is it with people? Somebody always has to be blamed. Why can't things just happen? Why does it have to be somebody's fault? So similarly, nowadays everything it's somebody's fault. Like, I haven't commented on the George Floyd Derek Chauvin case at all. And there was only one way that decision was gonna go. It couldn't go any other way. And I mean, there are videos out there and articles that people have written where, even on the BBC, I can't remember word for word what it was, so I won't say, but it was something to do with with them arriving at the right decision. But that was the jurors were probably scared to death for fear of what would happen to them if they didn't arrive at the right, in speech marks, verdict. So for me, I say what I want to say, basically. I don't deliberately wander around giving offense, but sometimes there are things that need to be said, or inconsistencies that need pointing out, and often people don't necessarily like it, but like I said, people do take offense at some of the things I say. So whereas before they would try to come and argue with me because I'm very good at arguing, I've changed my mind, by the way. I am going the other way around, because the wind is blowing the other way, sort of on the other side of the road facing, and the direction I'm going in and back I'll be fine, because it's not there's no wind blowing this way, and it's warm, and I'm actually wearing my shorts and just my hoodie. So I'll make the longer trip because I need more items. The shop I was going to go to, I could only get so much from them. It's just a local Turkish shop. So I am now going to the supermarket where I will be able to get everything that I need. I didn't actually get to bed until after 5 this morning. I did a night shift because I went to sleep yesterday around about 4 o'clock in the afternoon for what I thought was going to be 1 hour. No, actually, no, it's 3. And I was listening to the Grace Kelly autobiography on YouTube. Sorry, not autobiography. It's kind of an autobiography because the person who wrote it, she told him the full story and requested that he not publish it until 25 years after her death, which he duly obliged. So I basically went to bed at the time, even before Grace Kelly and Prince Rainier started dating. They'd met but hadn't started dating, and I woke up when it was finished. Right, so my sister was sitting in her chair in the living room, and I woke up just before 7. So then I had to rush to prepare her dinner, and it wasn't my intention to sleep for so long, and the plan was to go shopping last night as I normally do, but I was on a roll. I had good energy, obviously, because I woke up, so I just worked right through the night. So now at just gone 11 o'clock, I'm going shopping and then back to work. Right, so anyway, so back to the point I was making. So yes, so I offend people not because I'm offensive, but because people seem to think there should be an appropriate time, as in the case with Prince Philip, the things that I say, should be an appropriate time. And that is a reality. Does death and disaster respect us? I talk again in the book about our deadlines. Death and disaster don't respect our deadlines. So when my sewing machine broke down over a week ago, so it was it broke down the Monday of last week, and I took it to the repair shop on the Tuesday, and I collected it on Tuesday, so it was a week later, and I had a deadline for 7 o'clock Wednesday morning, and I was in the process of doing that job when my sister's sewing machine broke down Friday evening. Obviously at the weekend I'm not gonna get anything done, but mine was still in the shop at that point, so there was progress. So I didn't get the machine back until Tuesday afternoon, but because I had slept and I'd had good sleep, I managed to get that job done within a reasonable time for it to be collected at 7 o'clock in the morning. So basically the reason I was tired was because I was up early dealing with a customer, and then I didn't get back to sleep. Right, so anyway, I digressed, but that's my crazy irregular life. So when my sewing machine broke down, I didn't blame the sewing machine, I didn't blame anybody. I just thought, I've had it nearly 20 years and it's only needed now. This service that it's had would have been the third or fourth, which isn't bad for 20 years. So it's a bit like Prince Philip, he's 99 years old. That's a good age. That's a very, very good age. Not many people live to be 99. So, but the way people are carrying on, you'd think it was a tragedy of a 20-year-old or something like James Dean at the height of his fame is about to go big time into the stratosphere, and then he has a road accident. It's not like that. So I mean, for me, I didn't know Prince Philip. I don't know the royal family. These are not my family. But even within my own family, my sister died, my younger sister died in her sleep in 1992. That was in November, and her birthday would have been in December. So she died, I believe, when she was 24. Now, we were told that her heart was only working 30%. Long story, but she had valve replacement surgery. And some years later, I came to find out that these valves only have a certain shelf life. So if you like, her valve lasted for as long as it was intended, if you like. Now, we know that the rich and famous have access to the best treatments. They can have transplants at the click of a finger. Not making any accusations anywhere, but not calling any names, but there is talk out there that certain people, elderly people who lived into their hundreds, rich and powerful, had up to 8 heart transplants. And we know that there is an organ harvesting market out there, and these are for the rich and famous. It's not for people like me, or perhaps you. I don't know if any rich and famous people are watching my videos, but that's the nature of things. They live a completely different reality to the rest of us, and I'd venture to say they don't give two hoots about us. But so that's pretty much what I wanted to say. Some complete stranger comes on my Facebook post and asks, is now the appropriate time? And I'm thinking, who are you to tell me what is appropriate and when? Based on people's feelings and emotions. I don't worship people. I've said this so many times. To me, everybody is the same. If I cannot mourn for the road sweeper, then I'm not going to mourn for Prince Philip. I don't mourn for famous people. When my sister died, that's what I was about to say. I vowed to myself, that's what, 92, so that's 29, coming up to 29 years in November. I vowed to myself that I would never feel that way again. And so people would think that I'm heartless or something if a member of my family was to take ill and die. They would think I'm heartless. But I go back to what I keep stressing about personal development. It is development. For me, what is the point? I won't call them weak emotions because that will offend people. But what is the point of what is the point of going around feeling sad when death, people keep telling me this, death is a part of nature, for goodness sake. We rejoice when people are born. We die we mourn when they die. But as somebody rightly pointed out the other day, if you believe in the spirit world, they say in the same way that some of us are here rejoicing when a child is born, elsewhere that child has left their heavenly home and there are people weeping, and so when they die and they go back there are people there waiting to receive them who are glad to see them. So as Elton John says, it's a circle of life. So anyway, I've arrived at the supermarket, so I'm gonna go now. Have a beautiful day. Take care. Bye bye.